Imagine driving down the highway when someone aggressively cuts you off, nearly forcing you into the guardrail, only to see them pulled over 2 miles later getting a ticket while a quiet, satisfying voice in your head whispers, "Karma," or consider facing an unexpected financial loss, painful breakup, or sudden illness while a well-meaning acquaintance claims it must be payment for bad behavior in a past life. Both of these scenarios capture the single biggest cultural misunderstanding of Eastern philosophy in the modern world, where karma has been distilled into a cosmic vending machine, a divine scorekeeper, or a celestial system of instant revenge operating like moral gravity to punish bad actors and reward good ones. We treat it as an external court of law that ensures people get what they deserve, using it either to justify our secret desire for retribution or to explain away life's tragic unfairness. However, if you consult traditional Buddhist texts, early Pali canons, or classical Vedic philosophy, you will find that this popular pop culture understanding is not merely simplified, it is fundamentally incorrect. By treating karma as a divine judgment system or a mechanical tally of cosmic payback, we miss its true, transformative power, because understanding karma as the early spiritual teachers actually taught it alters not just how you view suffering and fortune, but how you perceive every single decision, reaction, and thought you generate in this exact moment. To correct this widespread misconception, we must begin with language, as the word karma, or kama in Pali, does not mean fate, destiny, retribution, or cosmic justice, but translates literally to action, specifically referring in Buddhist psychology to volitional action driven by conscious intent. As the Buddha explicitly stated in the Nibbedhika Sutta, intention, satana, is what constitutes karma, whether one acts through body, speech, or mind, which completely shifts the paradigm because karma is not what happens to you, but what you intentionally do. If a heavy brick falls off a roof and hits a pedestrian on the head, that tragic event carries no karma for the brick because an inanimate object lacks intent, just as accidentally stepping on an insect while walking down the street carries virtually zero negative karmic weight due to the total absence of volition. Conversely, sitting quietly in a room wishing severe harm upon someone creates potent negative karma even if you never lay a finger on them. Because your mind has generated a deliberate state of malevolence, carving deeper grooves of aversion, hostility, and mental agitation directly into your own subconscious psychological architecture. One of the most damaging consequences of this misunderstanding is the toxic belief that every single life event is caused by past karmic actions, leading directly to victim blaming by claiming those born into poverty, war, or chronic illness are simply paying off debts from a previous existence, a view explicitly rejected in classical Buddhism through the Abhidhamma, which categorizes karma as only one of 5 natural laws, niyamas, governing reality. These 5 operational principles include Utu Niyama, physical laws like thermodynamics, chemistry, gravity, and weather systems that trigger natural disasters without any moral bias, Bija Niyama, biological and genetic principles governing disease, cellular division, and inherited traits, Siddha Niyama, psychological laws governing sensory perception and consciousness, Kama Niyama, the law of cause and effect regarding deliberate human volition, and Dhamma Niyama, universal phenomena such as impermanence and interconnectedness. Catching a common viral infection is overwhelmingly a function of biological principles rather than a divine punishment for lying to a colleague weeks prior, and understanding this multi-causal framework liberates us from superstitious guilt while preventing the cruel weaponization of spiritual philosophy against those who are suffering. The internal mechanics of karma operate not through an external judge or balance sheet, but through the agricultural metaphor of bija, seed, and vipaka, fruit, or result, where every intentional act plants a psychological seed in the subconscious soil of your mind that carries the precise emotional resonance of your intent. Actions rooted in greed, hatred, or delusion plant unwholesome seeds, akusala, while actions rooted in generosity, loving kindness, or wisdom plant wholesome seeds, kusala, meaning that when you respond to an insult with explosive rage, you simply reinforce a mental habit loop and deepen neural pathways that make future anger more immediate and intense. The true punishment for anger is not a lightning bolt striking tomorrow or a cosmic curse, but the immediate psychological burden of becoming a hostile, hypervigilant person trapped inside a mind that views the world through a lens of suspicion and fear, just as the ultimate reward for authentic generosity is an expansive, fearless consciousness that experiences existence as inherently interconnected and peaceful. Far from being a rigid system of deterministic fate where human free will is an illusion and moral effort is pointless, traditional philosophy views human experience as a continuous intersection between past conditionings and present choices, much like a game of cards where past karma deals your static hand, your genetics, height, birthplace, and past actions, while present choice determines how you actively choose to play that hand in real time. This dynamic reality is illustrated in the famous story of Angulimala, a ruthless highway murderer who wore a necklace made from the fingers of 99 victims, yet experienced a profound awakening upon meeting the Buddha, dropped his weapons, and achieved full enlightenment within that very same lifetime. Although he still faced the physical consequences, vipaka, of his past when townspeople pelted him with stones during alms rounds, his radically transformed present mind remained entirely free from psychological suffering, proving that karma is a fluid, moment-to-moment process where conscious present awareness can break the momentum of past conditioning. Reframing karma transforms it from an abstract theory into a practical tool for daily mental hygiene. Replacing rigid moralistic judgments of good and evil with utilitarian concepts of skillful, kusala, and unskillful, akusala, actions that either clarify or clutter consciousness. To master this in daily life, one must cultivate mindfulness to pause in the brief space between a stimulus and a reaction where true freedom resides, audit personal intentions before acting to ensure decisions are not driven by hidden ego, vanity, or insecurity, and refrain from gloating over the misfortunes of others under the false pretense of cosmic payback. Ultimately, karma is neither a cosmic tribunal seeking punishment nor a divine lottery dispensing rewards, but the simple, undeniable truth that your intentional choices sculpt your internal reality. Meaning, while the seeds of the past have already been sown, this present moment remains entirely yours to cultivate.